These are the lesson 14.5 notes from Advanced 1. We're looking at slope. Slope is the rate of change between any 2 points on a line. So we talked last year about slope being a rate. It is a measure of the steepness of the line or how much it's going up. So you can have something that is steep, or you could have a slope that was smaller and it would be a less steep line. To find the slope of a line, you find the ratio. A ratio looks like a fraction of the change in the y, which is the vertical change, to the change in the x, or the horizontal change. And we can write that three different ways. We can write it as we can write out the words change in y over change in x. I'll also throw in, I think we talked about last year, that the variable that we use to stand for slope is m. We'll do that more in chapter 4. So we can also write that as, sometimes you don't want to write out the whole words change in, so we use the symbol, little triangle, that's the Greek letter delta. So we can say delta y, that means change in y, over the delta x, or change in x. And then lots of our parents used to say rise, or how much it's going up, over run, which is how much it's going over. So if you ask your parents for help, lots of times they will say rise over run. So when we look at this little graph, this line, the change in the y value is 3, and the change in the x value is 2. We got 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. You could also start from this lattice point down here at the origin, 0, 0. And I could see that if I go from 0, 0 up to this point, that is a total of 6. And from this point over to here is 4. And if I simplify that down, 6/4 is the same thing as 3 over 2. So it doesn't matter which two lines you choose, it will always simplify down to the same slope. We have 2 example problems here. To find the slope of this line, I want to do the change in x over the change in y. I did it backwards. Change in y over the change in x. Okay, so the y value is going from down here at the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the change in the x value goes from 0 over to 3. For B, now we're using all 4 quadrants, but we still do it the same way. This time, instead of writing it all out, I'm going to write change in y, or delta y, over delta x. This time, if I look at this point and this point, make like a little right triangle there, and from here to here is 1, 2, 3. So the y is going up 3. It's going from -2 to +1, so it's going up 3. And then the x value is going from -2 all the way over to 4. So there's 2 plus 4 is 6. And then I need for you to simplify that. So the slope is equal to 1/2. You have 2 you tries that are exactly the same as the examples. Then we're going to add a word. We're going to add the word interpret. So in this problem, this table shows our earnings for babysitting. The X value is going to be the number of hours that I babysit, or I guess you're babysitting. And the Y value is going to show how much you earned. So if we start by graphing the data, let's put the hours in the X. And those are small numbers. I think we should count by ones or twos. Yeah, looks like they can go up by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. If that's too tight, you can still leave a space, like you could number 2 and then skip a space for 3 and then put the 4 on. Right? Otherwise, you're going to have to write really small. All right, and then the earnings looks like that should go up by tens. So this can be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. All right. Oh, and this is earnings. In dollars. So I've got 0, 0, over 2 up 10, over 4 up 20, 6 and 30, 8 is 40, and 10 is 50. All right, so now I've graphed the data. Find and interpret the slope of the line through the points. So you can choose any 2 points on there. You just want to find any 2 lattice points. Oh, let's pick anywhere we want. I'm going to do this one and this one maybe. It really doesn't matter. You can pick any 2 points you want. So we're going to do the slope, which is also m, is equal to the change in the y value over the change in the x value. So if I go from this point and this point, make that right triangle, the change in the y value is 1, 2, it's 3. But remember, each of these counts as 10. So if I'm going from 10 up to 40, that changed 30. That was $30. And then the change in the x value, those are counting by ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so be careful about your scale. And then when I simplify that, 30 divided by 6 is 5. So my slope is equal to 5. Okay, and then we have a new word. So we found it. Now we have to interpret. Interpreting the slope doesn't mean tell me what the slope is. It means tell me what the slope means. What's the slope mean? In the context of this problem, I'll add that here, means in the context of this problem. So when I look at this problem, it means that in 6 hours, I make $30, which is the same as $5 per hour. So to interpret the slope, you make $5 per hour. That's a rate. Whenever you see or feel or hear the word per, that means it's a rate. $5 per hour is a rate, which is a slope. All right. In example 2, that's your you try. So now you need to pick 2 other points than the ones I used. and you should find that slope, and hopefully you will recognize that the slope does not change. If it's a straight line, the slope is the same through any 2 points. All right. And then you have a similar problem for you try number 4. This graph shows the amounts that you and your friend earn babysitting. And so, but the problem being that if you're looking at it online, you can see it colored, but if you have my notes, then they are not colored. So you need to add color here. I think the friend is the blue, and that is the top line. And then you are in green here, and you're the bottom line. All right. So for this one, you're doing pretty much the same thing. First, you are comparing the steepness of the lines, so finding the slope and comparing that steepness and thinking about that, what that means in the context of the problem or interpreting. Oh, and then for B, it says to find and interpret the slope of the blue line, which is the friend line. That's it.